December 1st, I'm proud that Zelda Media has published my first book, Broom and Meadowsweet. First book in a trilogy based on Welsh mythology. The genre is fantasy. And the section that I'm going to read from today references two of the main characters. The first one is Arianne. She is a lady of ancient Wales. She is the astrologer of the kingdom. She has 3 children. One of them has not been named for a variety of reasons. He's the product of an assault, and also as an astrologer she has divined that if she gives him a name and arms, then the kingdom may be in jeopardy. So she has not done that yet, but her brother Gwydion, one of the other main characters, is raising this boy, and he's trying to convince her to give the boy a name and arms and therefore a livelihood. So they are at Arianne's castle, which is Caer Arianrhod, from which she practices her astrology. Gwydion and the boy stayed at Caer Arianrhod for several days. They rode along the white sands bareback on the horses that live in the castle stables. The horses were gifts to me from wealthy pilgrims, but I employ stable hands to exercise and care for them, as I hardly ever ride unless I leave on a journey. The two explored much of the castle as well as the gardens, which are extravagant for a fortress of such a small size. The gardens contain many beautiful flowers that bloom during the day, though most of the plants are nocturnal. I spent a good portion of time visiting with them, but I left them at night in order to divine the heavens. The sun's head was barely visible over the crest of the waves as I departed the towers on the morning of the last full day Gwydion and the boy spent in Caer Arianrhod. I caught sight of the boy in the gardens, wondering what he was about so early. I strode swiftly through the corridors and crept through a side entrance to the gardens. At first I did not see him, but I noticed a wren pecking about in a freshly turned patch of sod. The wren wrestled with a fat worm grasped in its beak. It finally pulled the worm from its home, but just as the bird lifted into the air, the boy swiftly clasped the creature in his hand. In almost the same movement that had grabbed the bird, he snapped off the wren's head. My entire body shuddered. I knew I should not be surprised by this. After all, the boy was often brought along as a member of hunting parties. Since he could use no weapons, he was probably encouraged to kill small animals with his hands. It was not only the sudden murder of the wren that shook me, though. In the tongue of my mother, as well as the dominant language of Gwyneth, there are tales of men of the eagle, child of the sun, murdering the wren, a winter bird, as the days of the year lengthen and grow warmer. I knew by this sign that I must no longer deny my son his name and arms, for he had killed the winter. I realized immediately how I would cause his old Gisa to fall from him, but I also realized what Gisa must replace the former ones. Thank you.